Happy Monday, boys and girls. This is Pastor JoEllen, and here I am in my art room this morning, beginning Holy Week with each of you with the story called The Legend of the Easter Egg. It's written by Lori Wahlberg and illustrated by James Bernardin. This is a Zonder Kids children's book, and I hope you enjoy our Monday walk as we begin Holy Week. At the end of the book, I'll also give you an activity idea that you might want to try with your family at home. I'm so glad you're joining us today. One April morning, Thomas and Lucy went outside to gather eggs. "Let's pretend we're hunting Easter eggs," Lucy said. "What's an Easter egg?" Thomas asked. Before she could answer her little brother, Lucy scared a squawking hen off her nest. "Look!" Lucy cried. Smiling, she held up a rosy brown egg. And if you look closely, look at those eggs. Oh my goodness. That night, Mama woke Thomas out of a sound sleep. "Lucy is very sick," Mama said. "Papa must take you to John and Mary Solomon's house so that you do not get sick too." The next morning, Thomas woke up surrounded by candy, licorice, jelly beans, marshmallow chicks, and chocolate eggs. He was in Solomon's candy store. I don't know about you, but my favorite are the marshmallow chicks. What's your favorite? All that day, Thomas helped John Solomon. He weighed chocolate on the tippy scales. He scrubbed the candy counter. Then he cleaned the cook stove for Mary Solomon. "You have ash on your face," Mary said, smiling. She wiped his face clean with her thumb, but Thomas didn't smile back. His sister was sick, and there was nothing he could do about it. On Sunday after church, Thomas went outside to play. He put a reed between his thumbs and blew. Squawk! 2 swallows circled overhead and called, "Cheer! Cheer!" Thomas threw the reed at them. "Silly birds," he said. He missed Lucy. "Why can't I go home?" Thomas asked Mary. She told him Lucy had scarlet fever. He could catch it too. So at dinner every night, John Solomon prayed for his sister to get well. One morning, Mary sent Thomas on an errand. When he came back, his shoes were all muddy. She washed his feet in a bowl of warm water. It tickled, and Thomas giggled. Good Friday dawned bleak and cold. At noon, all the stores closed, and everyone went to church. Thomas listened to the story about how Jesus died for us. Then snuggled under John Solomon's arm, he went to sleep. When Mary tucked Thomas into bed that night, he was still worried about his sister. "Is Lucy going to be all right?" he asked. "She has been very sick," Mary said. "But I want to see her," Thomas said. "Soon," she said. Then she handed him a chocolate Easter egg. "Sunday is Easter. You can see her then." "What are Easter eggs?" Thomas asked Mary. "They tell a story," she told him. "When Jesus died, he was laid in a tomb. 3 days later, some women came to Jesus' tomb to remember him. But when they arrived, they saw the heavy stone had been rolled away from the door." Look closely at this picture. Do you see the tomb and the heavy stone? Look at the shape of this stone. Mary smiled. Then an angel came and told the women that Jesus was not there. He was alive. "But how do Easter eggs tell the story of Jesus?" Thomas asked. "Well, just as a chick breaks out of an egg," Mary said, "Jesus broke out of the grave. And because he did, Jesus gives us life that lasts forever. That is the promise and joy of Easter." All day Saturday, Thomas colored eggs. Some he dyed red, some green, and some purple. He thought about Lucy's fever. Then he remembered the legend of the Easter egg, and for the first time, he prayed for Lucy, all by himself. Before anyone woke up on Easter morning, Thomas filled a basket with colored eggs and slipped out the Sonneman's door. During the night, a storm had covered everything with ice. The trees caught his breath. He had never seen anything so beautiful. And usually at this point, I always want to remind you, it's never a good idea to slip out of your house by yourself. You'll have to remember that when this story was written, it was a really long time ago. And boys and girls often left the homes by themselves. But we don't do that anymore, do we? When he got home, Thomas ran up the stairs to Lucy's room. Finally, he would see her. Finally, he would tell her of the story of the Easter egg, his hope for new life, and the love they shared that would never, ever end. In this story, we see the beautiful love of this brother and of this sister, and the time they had to spend apart for just a little while. That's kind of like us right now. We're spending some time apart to keep us safe and to keep us healthy. Now, I encourage you today to spend some time having an Easter egg hunt. My children would tell you when they were little, all the Easter eggs that we hid were always empty. No candy, no sugar inside, just empty eggs. Because remember, the tomb was empty. Now, of course, my kids would tell you they did have candy later, but the eggs that we hide each year are completely empty. If you have some empty Easter eggs at your home, I encourage you to hide them. Have your parents hide them, or whoever you're at home with right now. And then take turns and hide them again. Have a good time with it. Hide them outside in your yard, or maybe even hide them inside in your house. Hide them tricky. Hide them hard. Have a lot of fun while you hide your Easter eggs today. I look forward to our story tomorrow as we continue our holy walk and this week toward Easter. Take care, guys. Pastor JoEllen's sends love and prayers.